Pepper now under center, 5-step drop, but he's going to be sacked for the second time tonight.
Will pass on the first offensive play for Arizona, and that one's going the wrong way. Nate Hall with the pick, and he brings it back.
On this drive for Lone Star. Left side, looking for Soto again. The one-handed grab is going to get Lone Star into the end zone for the touchdown. To the house he goes, and it'll be a one touchdown.
18th SFL player and the 8th running back to eclipse 500. Pepper is going to be sacked on the ensuing play. And Lone Star Glory's defensive line coming through, and it's going to be a 3rd and 10.
3 timeouts and a quarterback who's only failed on 1 pass attempt. Burr off his back foot right into traffic and right into the hands of the defender. He was wide open. That's the free safety, Evan Lacey. If he was running the other way, that was a walk-in touchdown. She averages 21.5 carries, 101 yards, perfectly in sync. Fennec will float it up, wide open, touchdown, Ziggy Bronick. His 2nd touchdown of the year.
Early moments of this game.
Lone Star in the with their backs against the wall, but a nice defensive play there as the pressure collapses around the edge, and Lone Star has a sack.
Back on the field, Fury's second possession. See what they can do for it just outside their 20-yard line.
Joseph Green, 3-step drop, has to move around the pocket, going to take a deep shot left side. This one's going to be intercepted. Bo Martin Jr. spins his way up the field, breaking down the right sideline, and going to be brought down by the offense sidecar right. Quick drop from Green, pressure coming, cool, calm, and collected, overthrown right into the hands of Jay Mart, the linebacker. And we all know he can put it away. Play action fake, Joseph Green moving around in the pocket, and pressure comes, and Green is going to get sacked.
Glory drives that were really promising in tonight's game.
Pass is going to be tipped at the line of scrimmage and into the hands of Adam Williams, giving Lone Star a touchdown finally late in the 4th quarter, and they'll take it how they can get it. Williams gets.
Yeah, let's see if Deuce Fennec can make something happen on special teams. Anytime special teams can create a spark, the offense will come out humming.
This will be a spin move. 2 spins. Oh, Deuce, please, out to the 50, and he is going to indeed make a play on special teams. Deuce Fennec to the house. Touchdown for Lone Star, and the crowd is alive. And stole. Throw. Looks to the outside. No, dropped and intercepted. No way. 2 tips and a linebacker interception, and Lone Star is going to get a touchdown out of this. Pick 6 on the tip drill. Touchdown, Glory. Oh, what a
down. Wilson, short drop again. Wilson, another pick. Off to the races down this left side. Is anyone going to catch him? Albert begins across midfield, across the 20, the 10-5. Book it for Lone Star. A pick 6 for Begin.
Bounds with Fennec, slid back and a handoff up the middle, and there goes McBride. Take it, buddy! Get off of me! No way to the 20! Here, she's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. What a play, Jeff. Oh.
A little empty with the departure of Axis for a little while there, but it's good to see him back out on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. We are ready to go for this over the right side. That one's intercepted, and that's coming back the other way. Lone Star turns the ball over out to the 45-yard line, and wouldn't you know it, first pass of the drive ends up in the hands of the Lone Star defense.
Fennec gonna go for the open over the top, and that is gonna be a touchdown for the Lone Star Glory. Huge play on the corner route. It's 6 for Dave Axis.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this glorious evening as we embark on our journey on the road to glory.
Well, what's up, folks? How's it been? How's it going? It's been a minute. What's up, party people? Welcome to the very first ride of the road to glory. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us on this ride. A whole new show that's going to be mostly about Lone Star, but also a lot about the league and different things. I'm going to give you a slight overview on what we should be expecting tonight and the weeks coming up. And then we're going to get things kicking. But before I give you the overview and before I check the chat and see who's all in here tonight, by the way, great numbers for our first show already and a small hype train, so I appreciate that. I really You know how much I love you guys in the chat and the hype train and the emotes and the going back and forth. It's always my favorite part of every show, so I appreciate it. Ike, how you doing? I'll jump in the chat here in just a minute, but first let me introduce who will be my co-host week in and week out. He is my good friend, and he is the owner of the Lone Star Glory. Mr. Charles Doherty is in the house. Charles, welcome to the first ride on the road to glory.
It is great to be here. Thank you for putting this together, Dave. This is your brainchild. I know you put a lot of love into it, and I'm glad to hear that you and your wife are on the road to recovery. And for some strange reason, I just felt the need to wear a flat cap tonight. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's getting a little chilly in North Texas.
Did you get permission from Tyler for that?
I am. You can read into it what you will.
All right, sounds good. All right, folks, so here's the deal. What this show is going to be about, like I said, it's going to be about Lone Star mostly, right? Each week, we're going to be talking to some people from the team that we had just played, and we will we'll have some people on from that team. We'll have highlights about that game. We'll discuss that game. We'll also do the same thing for the game that we'll be playing next. We'll have guests on from that team. So for tonight, we have guests from Queen City. We'll break that game down. We have guests from London. We'll preview that game later. So that's the first part of kind of what we're doing. As I popped up the schedule real quick, you'll see Queen City and London. Next week it'll be London and DC, then DC and Houston, and so on and so forth. But we're also going to be doing lots of other types of things. We are going to have several Lone Star Glory people having different segments each week, and that would include Gunny. It'll include Yogi, Nate Hall, Freddie will be jumping in there, some other people. And then we also are going to do, as you look at your screen, we are going to have segments that we are calling Friends of LSG from around the SFL. And these are basically non-Lone Star people, but friends of Lone Star, friends of ours from the league in the SFL that will be coming on and doing every single week would be coming on and doing segments as well to bring the league aspect into this Lone Star show. So with that being said, what I would like to do now is, can I take a little vote? Can you guys throw some votes in? Bo Morpheus Jr. is in the house, but as you can see, we have a white corner where Charles is, but in the bottom we have the red corner and we have the blue corner. So will Bo Morpheus Jr. be in the red corner or the blue corner? I'd like to hear what people have to say about that. Tyler Falk, thank you for that. You guys vote on that while I check the chat real quick. Going back to the beginning, first one in is Mike All. Kendra Hall is in the house. Bo Martin Jr., Ike McBride, Frank the Franchise Wade, Bob Funk, Bullet Beletsky, Gunny McGuire, Packer Fred, Art Vandelay, Danny J Rock 37's in the house. Pseudo Nakai is with us. The lovely, amazing, perfect Pink Lisa. That's what she said. Man, I miss saying that one. That's one of my favorite names to always say. That's what she said. Let me see who else is in here. Who am I missing? Young Vol, or Young Vot. Sorry, I can't read it. First time chat, welcome. My favorite quarterback in the world, Ace Fennick in the house. Good to see you, Ace. Thank you for all your hard work as well. Albert Begin is in here as well. Let me see who else we got real quick. I said Bob Funk already. Bullet Bow. Deuce Fennick is in the house. And I mean the Greg Soto is with us. Let me see who else we got here. Tyler Falk, of course. Tyler, Bob. Is that everybody? Did I get everybody? All right, what's the consensus here? I see red. I see blue. I see blue. I see red. Bo Martin Jr. said bled. We got another red. Mike All saying Bo is in the middle. Another blue. All right, folks. I would like to welcome one of our two panelists for tonight. He is our good friend. He is the defensive back for our glorious Lone Star Glory. And ladies and gentlemen, if you said red, you are correct. In the red corner, Bo Morpheus Jr. Bo, what's up? How you doing, bro? Welcome to the show, man.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, Dave? Thank you so much for having me. I say it all the time, all my SFLians. It is a glorious, glorious evening, especially glorious tonight, Dave, as we begin our journey on the road to glory. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for everybody else joining us here, too. It says a lot about this SFL community that, you know, even though this is a Lone Star centered show, we got people joining us because they know we're going to talk about everybody. We're going to talk about all of the SFL teams. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us, and you're in for a treat.
Awesome, Bo. Thank you very much. As I see Doug Britton jumping in the house. Doug, welcome to the show, bro, and thanks for the well thoughts there. In the blue corner, so who does that leave? Who's in the blue corner? Well, all I can say is it is the one. It is the only. It is the Cuban Missile Crisis himself, the Greg Soto. Greg, what's up, bro? Welcome to the show. Love your
Hey, man. What's going on, man?
Love your background, bro. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I was deciding, like Charles, what hat to wear. I had something similar, but I decided to go with the Cuban flag today.
That's all right. Well, you are the Cuban Missile, so it's perfect. Well, everybody, this is your panel for tonight. And like I said, we start things off. We're going to start things off with friends of LSG from around the SFL. And the very first friend of LSG from around the SFL that will be with us this evening is none other than my very good friend, longtime panelist on my old show, and that is none other than Frank the Franchise Wade. And what the Frank the Franchise Wade will be doing is talking about the franchise that we're getting ready to play each week. He's going to give us some breakdown, give us some information we may not know. Tonight he's pulling double duty because we didn't have a show last week, so he's going to talk about Queen City right now. Then later in the show, he'll talk about London a little bit. So with no further ado, first of all, Frank, welcome to the show. Welcome back, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, guys. And Dave, I appreciate you having me. And I'm glad you and Lisa are feeling better.
No, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And thank you for all your hard work. Frank helped out a lot with our graphics and stuff. So, Frank, thank you for helping us, man.
No problem.
All right. With that being said, Frank the Franchise Way going to blow us up with some Queen City 411. So, Frank, take it away, buddy.
All right, we're going to talk about Queen City and your first opponent in Week 1. Queen City had finished second in the North Division with an 8-4 record. They lost in the playoffs to Las Vegas. After joining the league in Season 6, the Corsairs have put a record up of 80-68. Plus, they have the league-leading 4 SFL championships and the most playoff appearances with 12. They came into the season with the title of probably the best offensive line in the league, and they used it to their best ability. This is a proud organization. They went into the game with a plan to run zero and control the clock. That is why they beefed up that offensive line. They held the ball for over 28 minutes. Jet Zero ran the ball 32 times for 105 yards. He had almost as many yards rushing as Caswell did passing. Zero had his best season last year at running back with over 1,500 yards and 17 touchdowns. What Queen City did not count on was that glory quick strike attack. Adam Williams had a 74-yard receiving touchdown. Soto had a 49-yard receiving touchdown. Mike McBride, 74-yard rushing touchdown. Even though they controlled the clock like they wanted to, they got Zero the ball. Once they fell behind, it was hard for them to keep up. Queen City is a team that it was considered in a rebuild last season. And surprised a lot by their quick start, making the playoffs, finishing second in that division, and then it was a stunning loss to a good young Las Vegas team.
Well, Frank, let me first of all thank you for doing this, and we're going to see you again later in the show for London. Were you surprised by the outcome? Because to be honest with you, I think us at Lone Star were a little surprised. The way the game went down this past week. Were you surprised as well?
I was a little bit surprised. Greg's done a great job with y'all's offense. I liked the game plan that Queen City was trying to accomplish, and they were accomplishing their goal as in time possession and things like that. But once the first touchdown, I think it was to Adam Williams.
Yes.
That kind of put them on their heels a little bit, and they had to punt, and then boom, again another score, and next thing you know, they were playing catch up, and that kind of put them out of that game plan that they wanted to be in.
Right. All right. Well, Frank, thank you so much for the Queen City breakdown. We'll see you in a little bit to talk about London.
All right.
Hey, before we bring in BJ Loveless here in a moment, let me go around the panel real quick. Charles, let me start with you. Queen City, like Frank said, an SFL all-time juggernaut, obviously in this league. Jet Zero is no joke. Caswell is an old vet. They definitely had our number in that first quarter, and they controlled time of possession. Is that the possession-controlled game what you expected, seeing as how you've done so much work on the defense for the Lone Star defense? Is that what you were expecting from the Queen City offense last week?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was going to be basically a heavyweight match, blow to blow, going up to the last minute. What I didn't expect was Greg's offense to be able to adjust. I mean, the key here is Greg's offense adjusting so quickly to what the situation was. I mean, it started out with, Jet Zero 3 yards, Jet Zero 5 yards. Like, man, this is going to be a long day. And the defense started to adjust a little bit. And then, Greg's offense took over and, just lit it up. And, to be quite honest with you, it didn't come out that way in our sims. I mean, they were all close games, and we put a lot of time in it. And, I've got nothing but respect to the Queen City organization. It starts at the top with Eric and Chris and BJ and even down to Hubba and Tom. But I could tell they put a lot of work in their game plan, but it was one of those things where, the way APF is, it's just the luck of the draw. I mean, everything was hitting on our cylinders, and unfortunately for Queen City, they didn't get all the breaks that we did.
Greg, I was actually going to go to Bo, but I guess he went to the Matrix or something. Greg, I'm going to ask Bo about the amazing defense, especially in that first quarter. Nate Hall really setting the pace and what have you. But let's talk about your offense for a moment. Your quick strike offense is what I think was the surprise of the game, not for just me and whoever, but everybody watching. Quick strike offense, was that the plan? Were you planning on putting the gloves on and we just got lucky? Break us down the whole offensive philosophy going into Queen City, or against Queen City? I'm sorry.
Yeah, leading up to it, just like Charles says, there were some close sims. And just doing a lot of practicing plays, throwing different things in there of what we thought, and kudos again. I know we talk about defense and we talk about the offense. We wouldn't be anywhere without our scouting crew. Our scouting crew with Freddie, James, Albert, Gunny, Yogi, myself, and Charles. It doesn't happen. Without their help, it just doesn't happen. But going back to the Sims, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of close ones. I definitely, going back and forth with Charles, we saw certain things that were working. And, I went back and I told this to Carlos, I went back to the mentality, and you'll know that I have running my soccer team. It's like, what, we need to stick to who we are. We have an identity. Let the league figure out what that identity is, but this is who we have on the field. And let's see what our horses can do. And I know you've heard me say this, in the soccer league, I just, you asked me, what did you do? I said, no tactics. I'm just letting the horses
Just
run.
let them run, yeah.
And that's what I did. And that's what basically we did. And it just happened, like Charles said, APF decided to let our horses run on the plays that they can. And was it meant to do that? No, I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I thought it was going to be back and forth because, a lot of respect to QCC and what they do. And like I said, Matthew Jr., for me and my sins, Matthew Jr. and Zero were just a complete pain in the ass for a week and a half. I just didn't even, it just got to the point where I was just telling the defensive guys, I'm like, hey, just, you know what? Zero's going to get his thing. Just let him do his thing. Just shut everything else down, please, for me.
Right.
And then, cross my fingers and, it happened the way I wanted it to. Completely planned out that way? No, but I'm very happy it did. And, and it's good. It was so quick. I think officially it was like 42 plays, but if you take away the punts and the kicks and all that, we had way less than that in the whole entire game.
Yeah, I heard Cam talking during the game that we may have set a record for the least amount of plays in a game or something. I don't know if that
I checked on that. Yeah, I checked on that officially because you gotta I think punt goes towards the offense or field goals goes with the offense as well.
Right.
So we just went over it. Okay. So which I'm happy with, least amount of plays to get a win. Kudos to London, with their scouting team and, and I'm glad that our playbook, only used that many plays.
Right. Gotcha. Hey, Bo, did you disappear on us? Did you go into the Matrix? I think we lost Bo. When Bo comes back, I'll ask him about this amazing... Oh, there he is. Oh, he is going to the Matrix. What's up, Bo? Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Hey, I want to talk about the DBs in this game. The defense overall was amazing all game long, but in that first quarter, when Queen City was really grinding, putting us, I think we went down 10-0 to begin the game. Or no, I'm sorry, we went down 10-7 because Nate had that very first play interception. But offensively, we it took us a couple of times to get going. But the defense, bro, with all the deflections, with all the interceptions, all that stuff, the five horsemen, like as we call them here at Lone Star, yourself, Gunny, Albert, Evan Lacey, and Nate Hall were just all over the place. Talk about you and your crew back there in the defensive backfield and just how you guys were flying all over the place, everywhere all night.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I mean, first off, shout out to Nate Hall for getting it all started. Immediately right out of the gate, Nate set the tone. They were driving and we could tell they were trying to pick apart the defensive backs, and they were doing a really good job at it. They were driving down the field. They had gotten down to, I think, about the 30, somewhere in that area, the 40 or 30. And the guys just refused to quit. And, they were just basically looking for one slightly errant pass to take advantage of. And Nate took it to the house, and that got us all started. And once that got going, it was pretty much all downhill from there for them because my guys started teeing off, and every pass that got put in the air was either getting swatted down or intercepted. And, I think that had a lot to do with them trying to go. Of course, it looked like their plan was to go with the running game pretty heavy, but every time they put it in the air, we were right there for them. So I think that, the fact that we were right there for them helped them to try to put it on the ground instead. So it just made everybody, the five horsemen made a tremendous impact on that game.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think, and Charles, last really quick question before I go to BJ. Is that the best you've seen our defensive player? Have we played better than that before?
As far as reacting to the play, that's the best I've ever seen. I mean, we've had good defensive games, but at one of the things you can't forget or leave out is the linebacking play.
Yes.
I mean, the amount of tackles that they had was just insane.
Yep.
The linebackers were there. The defensive line did what they needed to do to get the pressure on the quarterback, so he had to make a quick decision. But the linebackers They were closing quickly, making tackles. The secondary reacting to the ball. I mean, that's the fastest reaction game I've seen since I've been involved with Lone Star.
Real quick shout out, Max Jackson in the house. Max, welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here and supporting us. Let's bring in the general manager of the Queen City Corsairs, Mr. BJ Loveless himself. BJ, how you doing, bro? How was your weekend? I mean, before the game, obviously. And how are you doing? And how's Chris doing, by the way? I know Chris was supposed to join us tonight, but had to bug out.
I believe Chris is doing fine. Last I heard from him. But first of all, Dave, glad to have you back, and glad to hear you and Pink Lisa are going on up and up right now.
Thank you, bro. I
as far as
appreciate that.
your health is concerned. But the weekend before the game was pretty good, man, and getting everybody riled up for week one, and you know how week one goes.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the victory, but
well,
that's week one for you.
Yeah, and we know. Listen, everybody knows week one is a crapshoot. But let me ask you, just out the gate, did you see a lot of things from us that you did not expect, or did you maybe try to balance things out because it is week one and you didn't know which way to go with us, or what was the mindset going into this week?
I know with Chris and the Sims, he was basically telling us, like, week one, what you guys having 4 wide and 4 thoroughbreds at that, at wide receiver, and Adam Williams was just giving us the flux and Sims, and it was like, which way do we go? Do we try to box out the wide receiving core they got, or do we try to box out Ike McBride and try to keep things balanced? And I mean, we played a guessing game, and we paid for it in week one.
Yeah, I got to tell you though, man, Jet Zero is a beast and a half, bro. I mean, if him and maybe Phoenix Jones are not just the most powerful run over people backs, along with our own Ike McBride, of course. I don't know who else is there. How's Jet doing after the game?
One more time, you broke up.
I was asking how Jet Zero's doing after the game.
Oh yeah, he was a little distraught because, I mean, obviously they're so used to us controlling the ball and controlling the game and whatnot, So he's a little down, but ain't nothing the week 2 matchup won't fix.
Right. Let me real quick. I want to recap everybody. Then I'm going to ask. I'm going to have you and Soto go back and forth a little bit here in a moment. But for those of you that can see the screen, just a real quick recap. Last season, Queen City Corsairs were supposed to be having a rebuild season last season, and they kind of shocked the world. I think BJ, would you guys start off like 4-0 or something last season?
6-0.
6-0. 6-0. They ended up 8-5 if you count the playoff loss to Las Vegas. But before we get back and forth with you and Greg, do you guys feel like you overachieved last season? Do you feel like you're ahead of the curve where you thought you would be? Or is that just a bunch of us content creators making noise that we didn't know what we were talking about?
Coming into the season, our plan was step 1 of a 3-season plan to eventually rise to the top of the league. Would I say we overachieved to where our plan was in year 1? Yeah. But we went with the success. We said, well, as long as this is rolling and as long as this is working, keep pushing it. And now you're starting to see portions of the plan as we're differentiating away from the typical builds and having a 3-contract offensive lineman and things of that nature that nobody at this moment looks like us.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's a different plan that we're hoping that can get us to where we want to be this season and seasons in the future.
Real quick, a couple people jumping in the chat. Welcome to Biff Markham, Siege Falco, and Too Cold 49. Welcome to the first ride on the road to glory. We are talking to BJ Loveless right now. Eric, BJ, Chris, Tom, and Hubba over there doing a phenomenal job, Greg, in Queen City, turning that franchise around again to try to turn them into another one of the perennial teams in this league. As you were preparing our offense this past week against this Queen City defense. What was the hardest thing to prepare for against Queen City's defense?
My Sims, it was really getting Ike going, and as you saw, I mean, they pretty much stuffed her and Bravado, for the whole game basically, except for that big run that Ike had that broke through for a touchdown. But other than that, I mean, in my Sims, that's what I was having trouble with. Just their front seven, was just tough. It was just tough. I don't think I had one Sim, to be honest with you, where I had Ike going maybe one or two, maybe if I think about it, maybe one or two out of the many that I did, that she broke 100. And then just seeing that, I just adjusted. I said, you know what? It's kind of one of those things, and BJ touched on it. You play that guessing game, and it almost gets to a point where you just gotta okay, well, the hell with it. I think this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna shut down Ike, and we need to let the horses run, and then just see what happens. And that's basically what I did.
Hey, BJ, talk to us about your front seven, about your defense, changes you made this season from last, any holes you filled, that kind of thing.
We on defense, only defensive piece we lost was Kappa Jones to DC. That's back seven. He was a safety, and we just kept moving in the right direction as far as getting the guys we had here to the next level of their builds and maxing those guys out, like a David Tilley who got a sack, myself, Jared Crow, who is all over the field, the rookie Nathaniel Diggs, who has been a tremendous addition to the locker room, along with our defensive backfield, Cody Griffin, defensive rookie of the year, Ted Haynes, King Jamal, Maurice Lloyd. That we're just getting those guys to the next step of the plan and getting them in the right positions to succeed. In week one, it was 2 plays directly to right over King Jamal's head that led to touchdowns. The same exact play, actually. Right. And they went to that play 3 times. One time he actually got to the ball and deflected it.
I do remember that.
It's just one of those situations. It was just one of those situations where it was just like, damn, it's either him or it's him either deflecting it or going for touchdowns. And y'all caught those breaks.
Yeah, and Dave, you can tell too, going back to what I said, how many times do you see Ike in a whole game get stopped at the line of scrimmage? I mean, there were so many tackles right at the line of scrimmage, or her and Bravado only getting 1 or 2 yards, or even losing yardage. That happened a lot, and it was weird because we talk about it a lot when we're simming games and we see the games that never happened in our sims, but that was happening in my sims where they were just stuffing the run. So I mean, again, kudos to that front four and what BJ and them are doing on the defensive side. And definitely teams are going to have a hard time running on them all season long.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the other side of the ball real quick before we wrap this up. Charles, you were a big part of the defense this week, the strategy and all that. And our defense played phenomenal. As you were trying to defend this Queen City team in Sims, what was the hardest thing? I'm guessing Jet Zero probably, but other than Jet Zero,
definitely.
what were the hardest things to defend against this Queen City team?
Well, I think anytime you go up against a team that has 2 tight ends, you don't know where they're going to go. Either they're going to commit the 2 tight end sets all the way through the game, or they're going to mix it up. I kind of rolled the dice, and I thought maybe they're going to try and mix up the plays a little bit. And hats off to Chris, and on the coaching side, I mean, he got the best use of his running back and his fullback. I mean, both of them scored touchdowns, but I didn't know really what their emphasis was going to be. Well, I knew Jet was going to be involved, but I didn't know who as Deezer Powell Doug Spelling, Chris Ochoa, the 2 tight ends, Matthew Jr. or Kimbrell. I didn't know who was going to be the focus after that. So what we tried to do was try and cover the field as much as we could, and let the linebackers and the defensive backs. We knew that they could, based on the way we're building them, we knew that they could get some closing speed in, and we put them in a position where we thought they could do that.
BJ, last question for you, bro, before we let you go. Let's talk about your offense and what we just talked about your defense. What did you guys do in the offseason, like I said, to fill some holes, move people around, drafting, that kind of thing, to help your offense this offseason?
Well, obviously, we added Odette Boudreaux to the offensive line, and also adding 2 other offensive linemen, and Butch Minner from London, dealing him in division, and it's a lot of interdivision theft going on around here in the north. But and Chad can attest to that. And we added Robert Crone from Jacksonville, and it was the plan to open up holes for Jet and make things easier for him. In ways it worked in game 1, and in ways it didn't. But as the season goes on and progressions start to hit, you'll start seeing those linemen start pushing those lines, because there's a bunch of plays where Odette and Butch were upfield in the secondary, and guys just made plays off Crone or off of one of the tackles that stopped Jet from getting that first down. Or one play when it was a 1-score game, Bo Martin Jr. made a hell of a diving swat to stop a touchdown to Deezer Powell, because that was going to the house if he caught it.
Yeah, that was actually a great play by Bo Martin Jr. Agreed.
Let me just jump on here real quick. When BJ was saying, once he starts building out those 3 linemen, look out for Jet Zero and Kamazak as well. I think they're going to have a really good season, both of them.
I agree. BJ, first of all, good game on Monday night. Appreciate being your guys' opponent. You guys are a class organization, a class act all the way. We really respect and appreciate you guys over there, and we thank you for coming on the show tonight.
No problem. No problem. Anytime, man. And hopefully next time Chris can get on with me, and we can go back and forth a little more.
That would be great.
Yeah.
All right, BJ. You take it easy, bro. Thanks again, man.
For sure, man.
All right. Before I bring on Nate Hall and talk about his segment for tonight, Bo, I want to ask you. So we're going to do Nate's great plays, and we're going to do a little different this week. So starting next week, we will have a countdown. It'll probably be like 5 plays. We'll do a countdown with all the prep that we had to do and me not feeling 100%. What we did is we just strung a few minutes of all of our highlights together, and we're just going to play it as one video for tonight. But Bo Martin Jr., before I get to that, tell me a couple of your favorite plays from this game against Queen City.
Well, I don't know if you're going to ask everybody, so I don't want to hog them all. But there were several plays.
I'm actually going to ask you.
All right. Well, in that case, I'll go through them. First, like I said at the outset, Nate Hall set the tone with that pick 6. It was beautiful. And you know what? And Nate's got something on me that I don't have yet. So that lets me know that I got to work a little bit hard to get better. I'm still waiting on my first pick 6. And then we just kept it going. We piled it on. Ike didn't get much going, but Ike, if you give her an inch, she'll take a mile. And that's exactly what she did with that 75-yard run.
Yep.
I mean, they gave her an inch of daylight, and Ike, she's truck stick. So she just started trucking a couple of guys, and next thing you know, once she gets in the open, she's got this unique blend of power and speed, and it's absolutely amazing to watch. And then Soto got on the action too. So I forget how long his was, but it was like 60+ yards. And not to mention, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Evan Lacey getting in on the tip drill. I couldn't quite get to the interception myself, but what I did, I tipped it up, and what did my team do? They picked me up. I couldn't get to it. I tipped it to Evan. I said, "Here you go," and he was right there for the alley oop and the slam dunk, and that's what we do so well. And we just kept the pressure on. So those are just a couple of plays. Oh, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that play that BJ Lovelace was just talking about with me. I tell you what, I shocked myself with that one because
you were laid out like Superman, bro.
I thought I was beat. I thought I was beat, and I said to myself as it was happening, the only way I'm gonna get this ball is if I lay out, and I did it. And so shout out to the weight room, and because I shed a few pounds, and I got a little bit more hops when I shed a few pounds, and so shout out to getting in the weight room and the trainers who got me right for this season. I think it's gonna be a long season for the wide receivers on my side.
Awesome. That being said, let's bring in Nate the Great Hall. Nate Dogg, what's up? How you doing tonight, bro?
I'm awesome. I'm ready to get this party started.
So before we play the clip, it's a few minutes long. Before we play the clip, tell me, obviously you had to pick a lot of plays because we had a lot of great plays this week. But if I was going to have you narrow it down, how difficult was that going to be?
Honestly, it wasn't that difficult at all. And I had 5 plays ready to go in case we were going to condense it down to 5 plays for this week, but we did have so many plays. I just felt like these 5 plays that I chose were the ones that helped turn the game around as far as coming in at key clutch times during the first and second
let's
half.
do this. We're going to play the few-minute clip, and then afterwards you can tell us the top 5 that you have them, because we just have all of them in order the way they came in the game. So as soon as we watch these few minutes of highlights, we'll come back to you, and you can let us know what your top 5 were.
Absolutely. Let's watch this video. Yep, let's watch it, and then we'll get back.
All right, folks, kick back, relax, and watch a few minutes of Lone Star highlights against Queen City in Week 1.
League, presented by APM Music. The Lone Star Glory hosts the Queen City Corsairs. Ready to rock. Balls on the tee, hands in the air. Kick it. We're underway from Lone Star.
Brings it in a sea of defenders.
Again, split backs here as Caswell drops to throw. It's picked off at the 28-yard line. Back on the return. Lone Star 40, 30, being chased by Comisac. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Lone Star Nate Hall gets the glory on the board. 10 at the 25 with 4:41 to go in the first half. Fennick trying to get the offense going deep down the field. Wide open, the pass is caught. Adam Williams is all alone, and despite 4 offensive plays, Lone Star has the lead.
This defense is just a different defense after that touchdown. There's a spark and a fire underneath them.
Caswell going to throw out of the shotgun. He's going deep in the corner route. Wide open, Powell. Oh, what a play! Closing down on the football. Bo Martin Jr. Receivers for Fennick in the pattern. Fennick going long again. Wide open, Soto. It's a touchdown for Lone Star. All right, 3rd and 5. What do they do here, Steven?
Oh, this is clearly a passing down for them, but we've seen them run in this situation as well.
Caswell fires. Almost intercepted Evan Lacey. Hand off to Ike McBride. She's got way more than -3 on this carry. She breaks a tackle. There she goes again. 10th play of the game for Lone Star, and another touchdown.
Try and get this offense going. I mean, you look up at the scoreboard, and there's got to be a sense of urgency there. Oh, another 4th down attempt.
4th inches, and they will go for it, and 0 is stood up. Did not get there. Bogey Barr on the tackle. The rook. Caswell under center. 3 wide here on 3rd down and 10. Big 3rd down for momentum in this ball game. 3-step drop back and knocked away by Barr. Looking for spelling over the middle of the field. Has only caught 5 of 10 targets. Lone Star's defense stands tall, and Queen City will have to punt away. Fight another.
Imagine what's going to be like in the show.
Fennick, deep drop back on 2nd and 10. Wide open again. That pass caught by Ronick for a 1st down to the Queen City 29. Ace Fennick's QBR is nearly perfect. 4 wide, 2nd and 14. Queen City playing in a zone. Fennick going long down the middle again, and it's caught again. Wow. 2 with the 3. A touchdown really puts this game in the hurt locker. Fennick, corner, touchdown!
2 attempts after that, and a total of 3 yards. So Queen City has done a good job of stuffing her, although she hasn't had very many opportunities.
Fenix straight back, wide open, caught first down to the 35. That's Deuce Fenix, first grab of the night. No gain on that play. 3rd down and 5 for the Corsairs. Caswell 18 of 29 for $141, 99 yards on 32 carries. Longest just 11 tonight, as Caswell will step up to run and runs right into the pressure. Yogi Bar gets there first, forces a 4th down.
Yeah, don't define this as disrespect by the offense. You know, sometimes you got to go, you got a game plan, and you just got to roll with it. You know, the game plan called for them to go deep often, and once you get to a certain point in the game, you just can't really change that. So, not disrespect by them, just fulfilling their game plan that's worked beautifully today.
That pass caught by Ziggy, 3rd catch of the night, 1st down to the Queen City 39-yard line. Bombs away for Fennick, nearing 300 yards.
Run in there after I've done that.
1st and 10 at the 2. Caswell deep ball is knocked up in the air, and Evan Lacey has an interception. That's the 10th pass deflection of the night for the Glory.
Well, it sounds like the Corsairs are going to have plenty of game.
And there you have it, folks. 35-17, Week 1 victory for Lone Star over Queen City. Before I bring Nate back, I did notice Biff Markham subscribed. Thank you, Biff. Appreciate that. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody new jumping in, and no, we're good there. All right, Nate, let's bring you back in real quick before we move on to our next segment. And why don't you bounce your top 5 off of us?
All right. So number 5, I had Bo Martin Jr.'s diving pass deflection on 3rd down in the 2nd quarter. That play, at that point, it was 14-10 at that point. And BJ said it when you interviewed him. Had that play gone, it would have been for a huge gain. And
it could have been a momentum swinger.
Yeah, it could have been a momentum swinger for sure. It's a big play by Bo. Number 4, Soto's 49-yard touchdown in the 2nd quarter. That put us up by 2 scores, I believe. And number 3, so coming into the second half, Ike only had -3 yards on 1 carry. And I something must have been said between her and the coaches in the locker room, because she came out on the first play in the 3rd quarter, and after the handoff she took it. She barreled over a couple of tacklers and took it to the house for 75 yards. That run was your number 3 play of the week. Number 2, Worms. For those that don't know, Worms' nickname for Adam Williams, our tight end. His 2nd quarter touchdown to retake the lead. It was 10-7 at that point in the game. His huge 75-yard touchdown reception was the first offensive touchdown of our game, and he made a big play for us for sure there. And the number 1 play that I had for the week, Dave, I might be tooting my own horn a little bit, but that interception return for the touchdown in the very first drive for Queen City, that's what got the scoring started in that game. So that is your number 1 play of the week.
Dude,
it wasn't the coffin corner punt late in the game.
Yeah, what's up?
Not this time.
Not this time?
No, for crying out loud.
Hey, definitely, bro. I think we all agree with you that was definitely the number 1 play of the week anyway, Nate. Hey, there's no shame in your game, bro. You know, you say it like you see it. The mere fact that was, I believe, the first or second play of the game, and it set the tone, really, I think, for the rest of the game. Yeah, there's no shame in tooting your own horn on that one, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate you bringing me on, man.
All right, we'll see you next week when we actually just do a normal top 5 or so, depending on how many top plays we have, instead of that almost 4-minute video. Sorry, guys. I thought it was only 3. It ended up being 4. I don't know what to tell you. All right, Nate, thanks again, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll hang out for a few minutes and listen to the rest of your show live.
That would be amazing. Thanks, man. All right, folks, we are going back to another friend of LSG from around the SFL, and that is none other than our very good friend and another longtime buddy of mine from another show. And wait till you see what his segment's going to be about, folks. You ready for this one? How about Mr. Mike all dat and a bag of chips? And basically what I've told Mike, do whatever you want, talk about whatever you want, just do your thing. But the one prerequisite is when you're on camera, make sure you're eating some chips. What's up, Mike? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, what are you eating tonight?
I got some Funyuns with me tonight, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, nice. All right.
I figure, your shows always are fun, so I figured Funyuns, yeah.
There you go. And we're all young, kind of, and that kind of rhymes. We're fun and young, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, except for Lone Star, where I guess apparently we're the retirement home or something like that. But that's okay. I'll retire here over anywhere else anyway, so I'm good to go on that. So, Mike, first of all, congrats on your Week 1 win.
Thanks, Dave.
It's all downhill from here, from what I heard about the predictions for your team.
Apparently.
So I'm going to give you your time, and again, I don't ask Mike what he's going to talk about. He just does what he wants to do, and this is how we're going to roll this segment each week. So, Mike, take it away and do your thing, bro.
Well, I mean, I've kind of hinted at what I'm going to talk about. You see my Kings above me, Fort Worth.
Oh.
And Lone Star with Dave's beautiful sleeves right here.
Are those my sleeves from the auction?
The convention, Dave,
oh,
yep.
That's awesome, bro.
So, a lot of the pundits, one in particular, a buddy of mine, I'd like to give him a shout out here, Tyler Falk. They all kind of crapped on us, didn't they? All three of our teams. They all kind of crapped on us. And yet
They did.
Yeah, and yet Lone Star blew it up this week against Queen City. Just blew it up. And a lot of that probably is deserved of Greg Soto down in the corner there. He put a good plan together offensively. Fort Worth took Mexico City, just a stud of a franchise, to the limit into overtime in what was a really exciting game. Could have won that game.
I actually thought they were going to win that game.
Yeah, I thought so too. But they showed that 2-10, they're probably going to beat that record with the show that they put on. And a shout out to their rookie Frank Bernstein, 2 picks in that game. Awesome, bro. And how about the Kings here?
Yes.
Nobody gave us any chance against Portland. And yet we came out and definitely had a slow start offensively. Defensively, both teams were rocking, but we fought hard. We never gave up. And what happened? We got a nice little touchdown at the end of the game to ice it and win it. It was amazing. I don't know where this lack of respect for our 3 teams came from. I mean, Fort Worth is what, 1 season removed from winning your division?
Season before last, yeah.
Yeah. You guys, up until last season, have been right there in the mix with the playoffs. My team has now had 2 seasons where they were losing in their whole existence. And last year was a fluke. We tried some new things. We tried some different things. It was a fluke.
Well, and you had a lot of people to replace last season too, so.
And I think their GM in Jacksonville did a great job. Oh wait, that's me. I think I did a great job. And I think I did a great job this year too with who I brought in. I don't know if you watched the game, Dave, but our rookies balled out this game. They had nothing but bad things to say about our defense, and it was our defense that really stepped up and helped us win that game.
Amazing.
So, don't disrespect us because we got rookies. Don't disrespect what happened last year and expect that's the way it's going to go for our 3 teams. None of us are going to finish with the records we were predicted at. And surprisingly, it was everybody across the board, on all the content creators, everybody that made a prediction, everybody was putting us down. That's not us. That's not LSG. That's not Fort Worth. We're winners, and we're going to prove that this season. So, thanks for the bulletin board material, guys. It's just making it better for us.
Awesome, Mike. Thank you. Appreciate it. Can't wait to see not only what you're going to talk about next week, but what chips you'll be eating next week.
Oh, it'll be something new.
Awesome. Now, we always know we're going to get something new from you. A new place in the house, a new chip to eat, whatever it is. We always know you bring the new flavor, bro, and we appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me, Dave.
All right, Mike. Take care, buddy.
Yep.
All right, folks, there it is. All Dat and a Bag of Chips, a weekly segment by Mr. Mike All, the GM of Jacksonville, as Benji Matson hopping in the house. Good to see you, Benji. Thanks for being here, bro. All right, folks, that's going to bring us to our new segment with Gunny. Now, I know everybody's used to him being the wisest man in the SFL and his pearls of wisdom, but we are changing things up on this show. And this season, I hope Gunny's here. I know he was here and then he had to bounce out because he was having technical issues. Let me see if I can get him in here. This season, instead of Pearls of Wisdom, we're going to be doing Gunny's Mail Call. And what Gunny's Mail Call is that Gunny will talk about and give some background on 2 to 3 different Lone Star players each week. So those of you who maybe don't know everybody on Lone Star, don't know things about us or whatever, we'll be sharing that with the community each week. And this week, Gunny will be talking about 3 different people. Let me see if Gunny's here. First of all, Gunny, are you here? I don't hear you. I see that you're unmuted, but I don't hear you. I know Gunny, we had a good sound check, but then he had some technical issues at the beginning of the show. Gunny? Hello? Gunny going once? Well, let me see. Nope. Gunny, I don't even know if you can hear us or not. If you can hear us, jump out and jump back in, I guess. See if we can get you reset. In the meantime, while we're waiting for that, let's do this. Let's start prepping our interviews with the London crew that we're going to be doing here in a minute. Let me bring Frank the Franchise Wade back in first, because Frank the Franchise Wade, like we mentioned earlier, he will be talking about the franchises. You know, it goes with his name, and it works out perfectly. So, Frank, are you with us?
I'm with you.
Perfect. Frank, week 2, we have to travel across the pond to our very good friends in London. So tell us about this London franchise.
All right. London making the playoffs for the first time last season. Got in with a 6-6 record. Had a must-win game against an undefeated Baltimore team in week 12. Was able to pull it off. And then, unfortunately, they had to take on a very good Arizona team. And they were bounced out after the first round. Started the league in season 10. They have a 32-66 record. That's including the loss of last week. And they're looking to build on what they were able to accomplish. They made some noise last year with the free agent signings and everything like that, and stocked their offense with some talented weapons. And they were able to make the playoffs for that first time. The schedule had them taking on this same Baltimore team to start season 18. The offensive firepower, like I mentioned, is pretty impressive. They brought back wide receiver Fox Highwind to add to an already talented receiver core. Of course, they signed Johnny Pickler last year. He ends up throwing for 403 yards last week and 3 touchdowns. London jumps out to a quick 14-0 lead. Baltimore starts coming back. Unfortunately, 4 interceptions helped get Baltimore to put up 41 unanswered points. The attack for this offense after week 1 was shown to us that it's in the attack's going to be in the air. Robert Merrill only had 6 carries for 10 yards. I don't know if that's going to continue that way, but Merrill has got to be thinking that he has value to add to this explosive offense. You've got names like Bovine, Matson, St. Green, Kalia, and Highwind, Pickler. But these 5 guys right here had at least 5 catches each when the ball was put in the air. Jack Russell, Anthony Wayo, former teammate of mine, also leading the defense with 21 tackles between them, and Wayo had 2 interceptions. LSG, like you said, Dave, has to travel across the pond. It's a difficult trip, but a winnable game. This might turn out to be a shootout. with all the talent that's going to be on the field, with the two explosive offenses, this could be one of those games where they say get your popcorn ready because it's going to be a show. I don't have any hard feelings towards Johnny leaving Louisiana. We talked some. He's on my team in the SSF. It played out the way it did, and he's happier in London. And more power to him. The main concern for Johnny, and he might mention this later, is the interceptions. He's got to get those down. This team is going to be dangerous if he can do that. He doesn't have to feel that he's got to put the team on his back. There's plenty of talent to carry the load with him. So this is going to be an exciting game. This is going to be a lot of points.
All right, Frank, thank you so much for being here tonight and pulling double duty. And we'll see you next week, buddy.
All right, appreciate y'all.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Before I bring Chad Rowland and Johnny Pickler onto the show here momentarily, let me go to Bo real quick. Bo, you used to play for London. I don't remember how many seasons you were there, but tell me a little bit about your time at that franchise and and what it's like over there across the pond.
Yeah. Listen, I came into London at a time when they were going through a rebuild process. I actually didn't even spend a full season in London. I spent my rookie year I spent in London. I came in week 4. At the time we were 0-4. We finished the season at 2-10. I'm surprised Tyler didn't pick that. I mean, he normally picks somebody to be 2-10. But anyway, we finished the season at 2-10, and London was always a really great place. I have no nothing but good things to say about Chad Rowland over there and everything that he's done to help turn the team around. I knew they were scheduled for great things when I left to go to free agency. It's just I needed to get back home closer to family. Had some family issues, so I needed to get back to this side of the pond. So, but I will say that I'm excited to go back and play against my old team. There's still quite a few guys there from when I was over there, and I plan on shaking hands and hopefully Johnny will be nice enough to throw me a couple passes.
There you go. Well, with no further ado, let me bring in the head coach for the London Knights, my good friend Chad Rowland. Chad, what's going on, bro? How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty well, actually. Running some sims and trying to hone in on this LSG attack here. So how you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. Thanks for being on the show. And then let me also welcome in quarterback extraordinaire, my other good buddy, Johnny Pickler. Johnny, what's up? How you doing tonight, bro?
Here comes the money. Money talk. Here comes the money. Money, 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 money. Dollar, dollar.
What's
up, gentlemen? Glad to be here.
How did I know
Thanks for that intro, Dave. I appreciate it.
How did I know
we're
that
glad
was
to be
going to
here.
happen? How did I know, bro?
You already Some of us are a little predictable.
That's your thing. That's your thing, man. Hey, Johnny, thanks for coming on tonight, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course, man.
Hey, Chad, let me start with you first, and then we're gonna go around the horn. We're gonna bring Chad and Greg into this too, obviously. But first of all, tell me, how are things in London right now? How's this week of prep after a first week loss against obviously a very talented and strong Baltimore team that you guys started off pretty well in, and you guys played like, it looked like kind of a bookend thing, right? You played well in the first, played well in the fourth, but had some trouble in the middle. First, tell me, how's the team doing this week?
The team's in really good spirits. Obviously, coming off of the season we had last season, being able to be in our first playoff game ever, and obviously, it didn't end the way we wanted to, but coming into this season, we had really high hopes. We brought in a lot of great players. And we knew that the matchup against Baltimore first, we knew, one, that was probably going to happen anyway. And two, Baltimore is Baltimore, right? Yeah. I mean, I helped build that team. I mean, that team is built the way it is, probably 90% of it because of me. So, I kind of knew what they were going to try to throw, and that's why we got up, kind of big. And then all of a sudden, Baltimore kind of woke up and decided to take over, and they played a great game. I mean, that secondary is one of the best in the SFL for a reason. And with the team that we have and how we run, it was kind of bound to happen probably.
Johnny, let me bring you in real quick, bro. I think I saw you threw for 4 touchdowns. I didn't see how many picks. But you
3 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks.
Oh, 3 touchdowns, 4 picks. But you threw for what, over 400 yards?
Yeah, just about that. Yeah.
So that's a nice night for the most part, minus the picks. So I guess Frank kind of hit it on the head. Take the interceptions down, and you're talking about player of the week material right there.
Yeah, I mean, those are the numbers. I mean, we kind of expect to put up on a weekly basis. I mean, I think that you'll see a lot of 400 yard days out of me, with this London aerial attack. So I don't pat myself on the back for every for all the yards that we get. I mean, we clearly have an air raid. We have tons of weapons, and that's going to be our primary focus, is getting the ball in our receivers and our talented tight ends' hands and stuff. So, but yeah, gotta tone down the interceptions. I think that people love associating my last name Pickler with pick and stuff, and so I think a lot of people who are newer into the SFL or just get they think that I'm prone to interceptions or something more than the average SFL quarterback. I don't think that's the case. I mean, on the contrary, I've had three seasons out of my 4 with a pretty good touchdown to interception ratio. I think the best in the league. If you combine those 3 seasons out of anyone who's played for that same amount of time. But you have to take away that one awful season I had with Louisiana. That's really slanted my stats. Yeah, so it's about taking care of the ball, but it's difficult when teams are gonna game plan, knowing that you're gonna throw the ball. It challenges our coaches to be that much more diligent. It's a tough chess game to play. It's a tough way to strategize when what they're coming with. You got to get really creative and really cute with it and really do your homework and stuff. So, but yeah, got to go out, execute the game plan, and got to tone down those bad decisions.
Speaking of that, let me bring Charles in real quick. Charles, from a defensive standpoint, going against this Miami offense, which has a lot of weapons, but they're 99% in the air. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they only rushed for a few yards. Robert Merrill rushed for a few yards this past week, and everything else was through the air. Does a more of a, and this is not a slight against London, but like piggybacking on what Johnny just said, a one-dimensional offense like this, is it easier to game plan against, or is it actually kind of tricky not knowing if they're going to throw things, around for this particular game?
Well, the issue you're dealing with London is, so let's just say we go with, hey, they're going to be an all-pass offense. And you look at, they've got Talia and St. Green and 2 strong tight ends. So
and Highwind,
whatever you focus on, it's going to be hard. They've got a lot of talent. And you just got to figure out what you're going to focus on and pray that they don't go the other way.
Speaking of that, Chad, we've talked a lot on some other shows about Robert Merrill and being more of a receiving back than a rushing back, and it looks like you guys are going to continue that trend, using him more as a receiver. What's the mindset behind not really having using the running back to run a lot?
Well, with Robert, once when I came into London, I had to kind of look at this roster and then just take a look at the weapons and how I wanted to build this team. At the time, nobody really had an air raid type of attack. I mean, I know that was tried in the past and some had failed. But with Robert, obviously he was a receiver back in his day in Florida. And so, once we seen the Sims and stuff and I started running with this team, and obviously, as I had to take over as head coach, I took over with 6 days before the week 1 of season 16. So, I had to learn on the fly. And so when I figured this out, Robert was just, his build for some reason was just better as a receiving back. And so now, kind of like what Charles alluded to, you have MSG, you have, Van Galia, you got Bovine, Hall of Famer, you got Benji. You didn't mention Fox Highwind being a former number 1 wide receiver. And you also got Robert Merrill. So depending on the formation, you got 6 targets that are going to be thrown to. And that's hard to cover for a lot of defenses. But with Robert, I mean, we're slowly getting him a little bit better at running. I mean, it didn't show last week, but you got to remember, Baltimore probably has one of, if not the top 2 front sevens in all the league. So it's going to be hard to run on him no matter what.
That's true. Charles, I think, has a question for you, Chad, real quick.
Two quick questions for Chad, and then one for Johnny, if I may.
Yeah.
Robert Merrill, right now he's a balanced running back. Is that something you're going to stick with, or do you plan on next season moving him to something else?
We'll see. Obviously, this past season he was a finesse back in season 17, and some of the testing in the offseason showed some positive signs for switching over to balanced. So trying to focus on that build a little bit, but once we get it to where I think it should work, then we'll see the results. And then if the results don't pan out to what I want to do, then that'll be a focus for season 19. Obviously, I don't know the answer really to that question at the moment, but you never know.
Okay, and then the other question, Chad, is you're listed as head coach, among other things. But walk me through who's involved in the game planning, the game prep for London.
Yeah, so the way that I try to run things, and you guys may run it differently. I don't know. Every team has their own ways, but most of the time it's myself who's the head coach, and Benji and Tiberius Bovine, with all of his experience and years in the SFL, come over to help with that as well. And then Tanner Hendricks, who's been also the defensive coordinator this entire, since I've been here. And it's really, like I said, it's a team effort too, because you also have Liam that has the experience too. He'll chime in with some things every now and then, but for the most part, it's really pretty much a team effort from everybody.
Okay. And then my last question is for Johnny. Johnny, do you plan on having a pre-game video before our game?
If I have the time, I'll appear at an extra press conference for you guys.
Okay. Great. Thanks, guys.
And you know what? Maybe there might be a coach's press conference in there as well.
This is my appearance, assholes. I came on your show, so.
Wow, you went to assholes right off the bat, Johnny. Damn.
That's a good point. Normally with that kind of action, Charles, you got to pay double for that.
Yeah, that's what she said. Hey, so let me bring Greg in real quick. Greg, you're our offensive coordinator. London's defense. I don't know a lot about London's defense. I guess anybody who plays Baltimore is going to give up a lot of points like we did a couple seasons ago. But I have a feeling their secondary is going to be a little better than what we faced last week. So tell me about maybe their secondary, their defense overall, and are we going to have to make a lot of adjustments for this London secondary?
Yeah, I mean, people that don't know London's defense, here, I'll just throw out last names: Hendrick, Russell. At least the people that I've been battling in the Sims, my players been battling. Blackman, Ewing, Wyo. I mean, those are some pretty well known names in the league. In my Sims, I've been trying to get away from Hendricks Island, which I was successful last time we played them. Not too much, but I was able to get a touchdown off of Tanner, I believe. But yeah, I mean, that secondary is nasty. You got a quiet guy, but an assassin back there too, at inside linebacker, Gagne. One of my Navigators buddies from the minors. He's there at middle linebacker. Outside linebacker, you got Tony Roberto. But especially what I've been paying attention to a lot is of course the secondary. That's what my players and your players trying to get through. And our forward wide receivers. It's a good defense. And look, I told this to the coaching staff and the scouts, and everybody will know it now. It is not easy to win in London as an away team. London only lost one game last season at home, and it was only by 2 points to Louisiana. It was, I think, a 26-24 game.
Correct.
So it's not a thing that London does too much. It is lose at home. So no matter how good we did, and I keep on saying this in our coaches' room, we can game plan and it looks good, but it's going to be hard to win over in London. So if we come out of there scratching and clawing with a 1-point win, to me it'll be just as exciting as what we just did this past week, 35-17. So because it's not easy there.
Hey, let me also throw in, if I may, Chad's not fooling anybody with what he's doing with Fox.
I don't know what that means, but I'll guess that's between you and Chad. Let me bring Bo in here real quick before I ask Chad and Johnny a couple more questions and we wrap this up. Bo, can you think of a good bet maybe between you and Johnny for this weekend, DB versus QB kind of thing? Or maybe the 5 Horsemen versus Johnny or something? What do you think?
I got numbers in my head. I think that it'd be a fair assessment to say that if Johnny threw 4 interceptions last week, that we should probably at least be able to match that. I think that's only fair, Johnny. It wouldn't be fair for you to give 4 interceptions to your team to give them last week and not give us 4 this week. So I don't think that's asking too much for Johnny to give us at least the same 4. I mean, Johnny and I are friends, so I would hope that he'd be a little bit nicer to us and maybe give us 5 or 6. But I gotta say this though, Dave. London's wide receivers give me nightmares. There are very few teams that have a better wide receiving core than London. I think about if I'm giving London a rank, I would definitely say they're top 3 in the SFL. I was looking for a weak link. I thought, well, St. Green, no, that's not it. Vin Kalia, no, I know Vin very well. He's definitely not. Fox Highwind, no. Even coming in, maybe he's taking a WR3 role, but that's still not a weak link, or a WR4 even. Maybe Saren Storm, perhaps. No, this guy's a veteran. He's been around forever. How about Bovine? Yeah, no, I don't even need to go any further with Bovine. Benji Matson, no, not even close. So I went through every receiving option that they have, not to mention Robert Merrill. So they have 7 viable receiving options. In my opinion, if I'm London, I could care less about running the ball. And I don't know what their strategy is, but when you've got all of these viable receiving options, they're right to only run the ball 5 or 10 times a game because they don't need to run the ball a lot. When you've got this many solid receivers, our hands are going to be full. So we're gonna have a team meeting with the 5 Horsemen. I'm gonna ask J Mart and J Mart and Freddie to join in on the meeting, so that'll make 7 of us because we're gonna need all 7 to handle all 7 of those names that I just said, and we're gonna put helmet on helmet, and we're just gonna hope for the best. There's gonna be a lot of banging and a lot of fireworks. It's gonna be on and popping in London.
Awesome, Johnny. You want to respond to Bo before I ask Chad a couple questions?
Well, he didn't come up with a bet. I don't think that I'm going to be throwing 4 interceptions again. So, I hate to disappoint you. I don't know what the 5 Horsemen is. Is that the defensive backs you guys got back there?
That's correct.
Absolutely.
You guys, like you said, there's 5 of them, but we have more than 5 weapons. Credit to Baltimore. We know that Baltimore, they're a championship defense, but they have 4 cornerbacks, 2 gold safeties. Now you guys do have some studs back there. You guys have, I think, four gold defensive backs. You got Nate Hall shoring up the defense, as your 5th DB. But it's not as intimidating as a Baltimore defense. I'll say that. I'm looking my chops just because I have so many friends on Lone Star. I've been looking forward to playing Lone Star for 4 seasons now, or 3 seasons now since you guys came in the league, and I've always missed you guys on my schedule. I know you guys have been waiting to get at me as well. I think it's going to be a blast out there. I don't think it's going to go the way you guys want, but what else do you expect me to say? We do have the firepower. I think that, for you guys to, stand your best chance, you're going to have to establish Ike in the run game and really, keep our offense off the field. I think if if your offensive coordinator, wants to get a little flashy and think that he can match our firepower and go punch for punch with the throws, I think that's going to be a mistake. But good luck with that.
Well, listen, Johnny, I didn't. You're right. I didn't come up with a bet, but what do you have in mind, sir?
Man, I'll say. I mean, I don't know. What first, like, what are the terms of the bet, or what's on the line?
Yes.
Yes. Man, I'll say I throw 2 or less interceptions.
Okay, so why don't you? Hey,
I'll get those 2 by myself.
So, hey, so let's do this. Bo and Johnny, why don't you guys think about this while I talk to Chad, and then I'll come back to you and see what you guys have come up with. How about that?
Bo gets no interceptions and London wins. That's my terms.
Okay. All right. Chad, let me bring you in here real quick. We've talked about how hard it is to defend you guys. We talked about your offense or whatever, but let's flip the script for a second. As you're simming and game planning against a Lone Star team that I think surprised a lot of teams last week in week 1, what challenges have you seen on your end for this upcoming week?
That's a good question. Let's see here. Let me bring in my notes. I have notes, by the way. For the things that I'm really trying to contain, really, first of all, is that front 4, right? I mean, Jukin Rukin is just a beast all on his own, and I think I've cursed Jukin Rukin's name quite a few times this week already. So offensively wise, I mean, kind of piggybacking off of Johnny a little bit. I mean, Bo and Gunny are great targets. They're really good at what they do. They're bump masters, and they play the game really well. Bo being a former London Knight, Bo actually left when I came in, so it's probably just because he didn't want to be around me. That's fine, no big deal.
You're kind of a scary guy, bro.
It's whatever. I mean, it's Bo. But I mean, like I said, obviously, there is some holes that I see. I'm not going to describe those holes. I could describe them, and I'm probably giving Greg Soto some ammunition that I'm saying about describing holes. But maybe we could discuss that after the fact. But that's a good defense. Let me just tell you this. This front 4 is really good. The middle is extremely impressive. I mean, I've said it over and over again. I think Bogey Barr is going to be a building block for your guys' defense, right? And there's some things that he's done in this sim that I'm like, really? He's just a rookie. Like, he's not a 2-3 year vet. He's a damn rookie, and he's making plays. So, kudos to the middle of that defense. Obviously, Freddie Trammell's going to be a tough sell as well. And defensively or offensively wise for you guys, I mean, you guys obviously have a lot of targets. Greg and you obviously being the top dogs. I mean, Deuce and Ziggy, Ziggy transitioning over from tight end has been an interesting thing to see in the Sims, and he's actually played very well in the Sims. So, got to make sure that all 4 of them targets are contained. And Adam Williams, I think I have a pretty decent plan for Adam Williams, but we'll see. But I think that with what you guys have, this is an all-around good team, and I'm not surprised that you guys beat Queen City the way you guys beat them.
Well, Johnny, Chad, first of all, thank you for coming on the show, especially this being our very first episode of The Road to Glory. Couldn't think of few people that I'd rather have on than you guys. But before we let you guys go, Johnny, Bo, do we have anything? Do we have any bets for this week?
What do you got, Johnny? You're the cocky one.
Oh, jeez.
We're just gonna win, man. I mean, that's all I need to put on the line. I don't care about anything else. And no, you're not gonna get any interceptions. I might throw Gunny 1.
He was talking about giving Gunny an interception earlier, so
I will get at least 1. Don't listen. I may get my first pick 6, and it'd be a pleasure and an honor to get it off of Johnny 2K.
Oh man, I'll sign that ball for you if that's what you if you can get a pick 6. I don't know. I don't know what the terms are. I claim that London's going to win, and I claim that Bo Martin will have 0 interceptions.
All right. Well, why don't
And we won't even hear Bo Martin's name on during the game cast. Besides something like Kalia just struck past him for 20 yards.
Oh snap! All right. Hey, so let's do this. Let's finalize it after the show, and we can post it on social media because Johnny, we gotta have a friendly bet, bro. We've been wanting to play each other for 4 seasons.
Oh, I'm excited for this one.
And you and I finally get to do it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Thanks for having me on, Dave. Yeah, and
bro.
Charles, Bo, Soto, you guys know I got nothing but respect for you guys. Always rooting for you guys. Always got respect, but no respect this Saturday. All right.
I'm coming to see you, Johnny.
All right, boys.
Yeah. So
thanks for coming on, bro.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for
Even
having us,
you,
Dave.
Chad. Jesus.
I know. Jesus, God, Charles. Yeah. Thanks for having us both on. I'm enjoying what you're doing right here. This is a great team podcast. Maybe too much love for Lone Star, but whatever. I mean, that's all good.
Is there such a thing? Is there such a thing?
Greg, obviously good luck this weekend. I wish I could have stayed in Indy on Saturday to hang out and, watch this game together, but I got to be in Cincinnati for a birthday party. So, best of luck to you guys this weekend. My worst loss, if I don't count any Baltimore games, my worst loss was against Lone Star in season 16. So I'm looking for a little bit of a redemption on that.
Well, we'll see if we can outdo that one, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was like 33-14, if I remember correctly. It was like my second game ever coaching in this league. So, so I'll be looking for a little bit of redemption this weekend. But good luck, fellas. It was fantastic to be here. Appreciate you guys having us on.
All right. Thanks, Chad. Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, Chad.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
See you, Johnny.
All right.
Later, boys.
All right, folks. We have not been able to take care of Gunny's technical issues, so we are going to push Gunny's very first segment to next week's show, which means we've got one more segment left before we wrap up. And this is a segment we will be doing every week to see how we're doing in the Tex-Mex division. And it's called What's Up Down South, Yogi. And Yogi Barr is going to be talking to us about how the 4 teams in the South Tex-Mex division did this week. Yogi, are you with us?
I am here, Dave.
Awesome, Yogi. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Living it up down south.
Living it up down south. Perfect. Well, then I will let you take this away and do your thing.
Well, the producer told me we were tight on time, so 2 teams are 1-0, 2 teams are 0-2. That is all.
That's not going to happen. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Well, it was an interesting week for the Tex-Mex division. All 4 teams played well. Houston was in a dogfight with DC. It was back and forth all game. They came down and had a chance to tie it up near the end, cut it to 15-17, failed on the 2-point conversion. They came back and kicked the onside kick, and it was anybody's ball. DC was lucky enough to pounce on it, and they ended up kicking a field goal to take a 5-point lead. And the game ended with a sack of Dave Burr. So Houston came up short 20-15. In the other action, we had Mexico City playing Fort Worth, so it was Tex-Mex against Tex-Mex. This was a interesting game. I had to come back and watch it later because they played the same time we did. You had the old veteran Matt Wilson quarterbacking for Mexico City against the very poised rookie Johnny Reno. Mm-hmm. They both put up impressive numbers. Fort Worth had a decent lead most of the game. Late in the game, they were up 35-20 in the second half. Mexico City came back and tied it up 35-all. Fort Worth kicked a field goal set up on a Matt Wilson interception to take a 38-35 lead, and Mexico City proceeded to come back down with a veteran performance by Wilson and tied it up. Went into overtime. They got a pick from that poised rookie, and it ended up costing them the game because Matt South was just very sharp down the field. They got it to the 1-yard line and just kicked the field goal on first down to take the game. And we've gone over the Lone Star win. That was just a glorious night.
It was a glorious night. And I got to tell you, Yogi, obviously I was watching our game, and I kept seeing the score in the corners, like 14-0 Fort Worth, and then Fort Worth Mexico City comes back, and then Fort Worth takes the lead. It looked like an amazing back and forth game. It looks like the kind of game I would have been watching if we weren't playing.
Exactly. I watched it this afternoon, so I knew exactly what had happened because I'd watched the same scoreboard you did. But I got to talk to Bo for a second.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you a little story. My first sack of the SFL came against the Johnny 2K Pickler, and I got an autographed jersey from it, and we are linked together from that first sack. So he will fulfill whatever he bets with you. Don't worry about it.
All right, well that's good to know. I definitely want an autograph on that pick. I'm gonna get at least one. My goal is to get two, but I'm gonna get at least one, and I want him to sign it for me.
And that was the best first sack I could have ever had. That's the first sack I wanted to.
Awesome, Yogi. Thank you so much for doing this, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for having me.
The Tex-Mex division after week 2.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Folks, we're going to start winding down the show. We've got a few minutes left, so please don't hang up yet because there are a few things we're going to close the show out with each and every week, and they're kind of important things that we want to make sure that we keep the word out on several of these things. First and foremost, as most of you know, we want to promote each week findourmissing.com as we continue the search for Van Lacey's son, Evan, who was tragically murdered, has been missing, and still there has been no resolution to that case. So findourmissing.com is somewhere you can go if you have information, or you can go to Find Our Missing on Facebook as well to get information and give information. The second thing that we want to close out each show with is our deep respect for the military and Objective Zero, who does a phenomenal job helping veterans fight suicidal tendencies. And the work they do is just amazing, and we are just grateful to be partnered with them again this season. I want to throw out some special thanks. Getting everything up and running for this show, especially while I was sick, if I didn't have the help of a lot of these people, it would have been absolutely impossible, and this would have been pushed off at least another week. Ace Fennick for putting together the intro video and the highlight video for Lone Star. Bo Martin Jr. for doing the voiceover at the beginning of the show. Frank the Franchise Wade for creating these Road to Glory graphics that you see the road busting out of. Gunny, of course, who's going to be here every week. Mike All, who's going to be here every week. Starting next week, we had to get one show under our belt, but our good friend Bullet Boletsky will be leading the show off starting next week with his bullet points. Thanks to Nate Hall for his great plays of the week. We just heard from Yogi a minute ago. We're about to hear from Freddie. We want to thank Queen City in London as well for coming on the show. And one person I didn't get a chance to put on this graphic because I ran out of time is Benji Matson for putting together and sending me the London video clips that we were able to use in our show tonight. So Benji, thank you for that. I appreciate it. What's on tap next week? We'll recap our London game. We'll have some more London special guests on. We'll preview our game against DC in week 3 and have some guests on from them as well. Gunny will be back. Frank will be back. All Dat. And by the way, I don't know if on the thanks, did I forget to say Mike All? Oh no, Mike All's on there. All Dat and a bag of chips will be back. Nate Hall will be back with his top 3, 4, 5 plays, whatever it is. Yogi will be back. What's up down south? Freddie as well. We are going to be adding probably one new segment for sure with Bullet Boletsky, potentially a second new segment. And then at the end of the show next week, we have some Lone Star breaking news. I'll give you a little teaser on it. There were a few things that Lone Star wanted to concentrate on. No, you're not fired, Charles. Lone Star wanted to concentrate on going into season 18. One of them was our rebranding, which everybody saw several weeks ago. Second was this show. And then the third piece of the trifecta that we want to do will be announced and released next week live on the show at the end of the show. All right, folks, that is all, just about a wrap. Except you're about to hear. This is the other reason I didn't want anybody to jump off yet. I got my boy Fab 5 Freddy, Fab 5-6 Freddy here, who's gonna wrap up our show every single week. And how are you gonna do that, Freddy?
How you doing, Dave? It's good to be back with you and good to hear your voice again. But we're gonna do with old Dandy Don. Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night, the party's over. And tomorrow starts the same old thing again. Good night, SFL.
Awesome, Freddie. Thank you. All right, folks, that is a wrap on the very first ride on the road to glory. I want to thank Charles Doherty, Bo Martin Jr., Greg Soto, BJ Loveless. Let me think here. Johnny Pickler, Chad Rowland, Yogi, Nate, Freddie, Mike All, Frank the Franchise, Wade, Nate Hall. Gosh, there's so many people involved. If I forget you, I'm sorry. But I just thank you for everybody for all the help to get this first show under wraps. I'm loving it. I think we're going to have a blast all season, every single week. We will see you each and every Wednesday night for the remainder of the season here at or on the road to glory. And so we will see you next Wednesday. Oh, you got mentioned twice, Nate. Hey, Nate, you just got mentioned like 3 or 4 more times. We will see you every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on this Twitch channel as we continue our Season 18 Road to Glory. And we thank you for everybody tuning in. Thank you for everybody being in the chat. Thank you for all the back and forth, the subs, everything. Love you guys. Appreciate all the support. And we will see you in 1 week.
Love you, Dave.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. We'll see you in 1 week, next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. on Twitch. Good luck to London this week against us. And we'll talk about that show next week, along with our Week 3 opponent, DC. So, everybody, thank you again for tuning in. I want each and every one of you to have a glorious week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Boom.